like, I'm ready. Where are you guys? She's like, yeah, yoga time. I know the deal. Sunday mornings. So cute. Okay, well, we'll get started. If anyone else jumps on, we can just let them in. Your balls. You're in my way though. Can I sit there too? Okay. So, just finding a comfortable seat. Can I sit down, Pops? Can I put my feet there? So whether you want to pop your legs out straight or legs bent, crossed any way. Just ground through the sit bones when you get there. So you might just remove any fleshy parts. Just really try and sit those sit bones onto the floor. Just find a bit of length through the spine. You might roll the shoulders up, back and down. Do that 2 or 3 times, just letting go of any tension in the shoulders, the neck. And then take a big deep inhale, filling up the belly, squeeze the shoulders up to the ears, squeeze the face, and exhale. Let it all go. So you might do that 2 or 3 times. So inhale, squeezing everything in, squeeze the face, exhale, through the mouth, let it go. And one more time, inhale, squeezing everything in. Exhale, let the breath go, let the spine stay long, and you might just close the eyes and take a few moments to tune into the breath. So just noticing where the breath is this morning, maybe checking in with the body, seeing if there's any areas of tension that you notice. And just reminding yourself that today when we work, just working in your own limits, just taking your own time to adapt to anything that doesn't feel right in your body. So just tuning into that breath, noticing whether it's travelling deeply into the belly or if it's getting stuck in the chest anywhere. And then just guiding the breath a little deeper. So in through nose, trying to fill up that belly, belly rising. Chest and shoulders staying relaxed, and exhale through the mouth. Let the belly drop back in towards the spine. So inhale, belly rising, filling up. Exhale, belly falling back in towards the spine. In through nose and out through mouth. Nothing in the chest, all into the belly. Belly rising on the inhale. And falling on the exhale. So you might count the breath, just slowing the breath down, seeing how long you can inhale for comfortably. And just trying to match the exhale to the inhale. In through nose, out through mouth. Sorry, I might sneeze. Excuse me. Oh. Then you might just keep the mouth closed for a few breaths. So pass the breath through the back of the throat, finding that oceanic hissing sound as you breathe. So the exhale will feel a bit like that fogging up glass moment where we on an exhale, but the mouth will stay closed. But the same action on the inhale, you're trying to draw the breath through the back of the throat, keeping the mouth shut. Still belly rising on inhale, falling on exhale. If that's too much to think about, just squeeze that breath through the back of the throat on the inhale, and on the exhale, it will feel a bit like a purring sensation or a snoring sensation. You might notice how doing so can slow the breath a little bit easier. Engaging that vagus nerve, that nerve that helps us to calm and come back to our parasympathetic state, our calm state. just releasing the breath, allowing it to be any rhythm, any type of breath. And we can use the belly breath and that ujjayi breath as we work today. So just starting to bring the chin to the chest, just round through the spine, just try and take a little C shape into the spine. And as you inhale, open through the collarbones, lift through the chin and look up. So we're doing that seated cat-cow movement where we're rounding down the exhale, inhaling, opening, lifting chin and chest. Oh, there's someone else trying to get in. Mark. So just moving between the two in your own time. Morning, Mark. Rounding down. Inhale. Lift and look up. So just using that breath to initiate each movement between. Exhale, rounding, inhale, lifting. And then coming back to the center, I'm just going to try and slide the ribs across the top of the hips. We're trying to take a little bit of kind of separation between our ribs and the hips, moving side to side. So just gliding the ribs one way, gliding over to the other side. Try and keep the hips grounded and just take that little sliding motion side to side. And then we're going to combine both those movements, so circle the ribs around the hips. And you might just let the head roll in the opposite direction. So we end up with that kind of figure of 8 movement throughout the whole spine. Just letting the head relax. If the head's too much, just focus on the ribs moving around the hips. If you've got it in one direction, go back the other way. Reverse those little belly dancing motions. Keep the breath nice and steady. And then when you come back to center this time, just sit nice and tall, land one hand down, move the dog toy, lift the other arm up and over, and just find that C shape into the spine. And as you inhale, sweep the arms up, and as you exhale, tip over to the other side. Just exhaling to soften, reach the arm up and over, finding that nice side bend. As you come up this time, take a little twist, one hand to the opposite knee. Lift nice and tall as you twist. Be sitting right in my lap. You're cute, Pops. And then twisting to the other side. Lift and twist. Use the knees, just gently turn you. You might look all the way around if it feels comfortable, or just to the side. And then as you come back to center, beep, beep, pops, roll over those knees, coming onto all fours. So just find your hands, spread them nice and wide, fingertips nice and wide, ground into the underside of the knuckles, bring the knees underneath the hips. So you might just take a few little circles around the wrists and hands, circling in each direction. I'm just going to, my door's not quite shut, let's see, making little banging noises. Because we finally have a window open at last, yes. So just circling both directions. And you might turn the fingertips out to the outside edges of the mat, so just take a little rock side to side, opening the wrists and hands. And keep turning the fingertips around if they will go towards the knees. You can keep them to the side if that's too much. You might just take some weight into the knees, little rock back forwards, or just hold as a stretch if that feels better for those wrists and forearms. And as you release each one, just give it a little shake, and you might just take a few moments, again, more weight through the knees here, just opening the backs of the hands, placing the backs of the hands, palms up, in different directions, just gently almost padding them like a cat. And then give them a little shake out, coming to all fours. So tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, and press back into that down dog position. So pressing the shoulder blades away from one another, lifting the hips up and back towards the back of your mat, or back of the room, back ceilings, and lifting those hips high, and just pedal through the heels here. So let the head dangle between the arms, let the head be heavy, and just have a little wriggle of the hips side to side, bend one knee, then the other, walking into those heels. Keeping that breath nice and steady, nice and long. And when you're ready to just take a bit of stillness there, you might lift the hips up and back, press the floor away strong, shoulder blades wrapping around the outside of the rib cage. You might nod the head yes or no, just making sure the neck is completely relaxed there. And find that breath in through nose, filling up the belly. You might even sigh on the way out, just whooshing sound through the lips, just to release and let go of the breath. And then look between the hands. You might bend the knees if you need to, or walk the feet to the hands, keeping legs straight if that's something you feel comfortable doing. Feet can stay hip distance, just let the head dangle down. Grab opposite elbow and you might swing and sway here, just letting gravity do all the work to just open that back line of the body. Just gentle movement, little bouncing forward, backwards, just allowing the head and arms to be heavy here. Big inhale, sigh it out, let it go here. And then let the arms dangle down and just start to lift through the chin and chest. So you can keep fingertips on the floor or gently press them against the shins. Keep the knees gently bent. Coming up halfway, finding that nice flat back position along through the spine. You might keep walking up, keeping that spine nice and long as we come up, just supporting the hands on the knees as we come up to stand. So when we get to the top, just bring the feet together. Big toes nice and close or touching. Spread the rest of the toes and ground through the feet. Little gap between the heels. Draw the shoulders back. Squeeze through the glutes, soften the knees. Shoulders are open wide, chest open, palms can be open. Lift all through the crown of the head, and you might just close the eyes here and just take a moment to tune into both feet, just noticing if there's any sort of swaying side to side between the feet or transference of weight, and if you can find all four corners of both feet evenly pressing into the floor. And then if your eyes are closed, just gently blinking them open. Breathe on the inhale, lifting the arms up overhead, find that extended mountain. And as you exhale, tip forwards, diving into that forward fold. Inhale, coming up to that long flat back, fingertips on floor or hands on shins. And then exhale, fold forward. So walking or stepping back to find your plank position. You can drop your knees, chest, chin, or you might hover down, keeping your knees lifted if you know that's something in your practice. So peel the chest back, opening to cobra, high lift or low lift. Tuck the toes, lift the hips or press the hips back first, and then lift the hips to find your down dog. So you might notice how much longer this down dog is as we've come from our plank and our up dog. And the down dog you chose earlier, it might be a little feet are further away from the hands. Find your breath here. One more breath in your down dog. And then looking between the hands, bend the knees. You might walk, step or jump the feet to the hands. Come to that halfway lift. Nice, long flat back. And then as you exhale, let the head fall down. Forward fold. Sweep the arms wide and up. Palms touch overhead, extended mountain. And exhale, back to mountain pose. So sun salutation A, we'll go again. Inhale, sweep the arms. Palms touch overhead, exhale, dive, tipping from the hips, chest leads that motion down. Inhale to that long flat back, fingertips or shins. Exhale, fold. Walk, step if you want to jump. You might land in chaturanga or step back to plank, then hover down through chaturanga, knees lifted or lowered. You might come to up dog if you feel ready. Those knees can lift or keep the knees down for cobra. You might press back first or lift those hips straight up to down dog. So just let that head dangle here. We catch our breath in our down dog. We slow it back down if it's sped up a little. One more breath here. Look between the hands, bend the knees, walk, step or jump, or we might give those feet a little help to get back to the hands. Long flat back. And exhale, fold it down. Sweep the arms wide and up, palms touch overhead, extended mountain, and then release the arms down by sides. Beautiful. So sun salutation B, sitting the bottom back into our chair, squeeze the knees together. If you feel the bottom sticking out, just tuck the tailbone under, squeeze the belly in gently. Arms might be forwards or all the way up. And just check you can see your toes in front of your knees. So really sit back, beautiful. One more breath here. As you exhale, tip forwards into that forward fold. Inhale, long flat back, lift through the chest, and exhale, fold. Walk, step or jump. If you're going to jump, you're going to land with elbows soft in that chaturanga. Otherwise, step back to plank and hover down. Cobra or up dog as you bring the chest through and up. Exhale, hips back to down dog. So left foot turns out 45 degrees, right foot comes through. You might need to give it some help to get there. Step it through to the front of the mat, pressing into those feet, sweep the arms, coming up to our warrior one. So just check your hips and shoulders are square to that front edge of the mat. Draw the shoulders down the back of the body, nice. And bend that front knee as much as you can, back leg might be feeling that nice long stretch. Big inhale, and as you exhale, land the hands to frame that front foot, step it back. And then from there, knees, chest, chin, or just knees, or no knees to hover down. Lift and open through the chest, cobra or up dog, and press back to down dog. So right foot turns 45 degrees, left foot steps through. Give it some help to get there if you need. Press into the feet, sweep the arms, and sink into that front knee. Warrior one, beautiful. So again, make sure you're not opening, but you're squaring off to that front edge of your mat. Nice. One more breath. And as you exhale, frame that front foot, step it back. Hovering down as you exhale. If you can continue that exhale, take an extra breath if you need. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, press it back. So a moment in our down dog, just to let the head dangle, hang heavy, find the breath. Really press those hips up and back. You can bend the knees if you need to really lengthen the spine here. Especially if hamstrings feel tight. One more breath. And then look between the hands, bend the knees, walk, step or jump those feet to the hands, come back to that halfway long flat back, and exhale, forward fold. Sit the bottom back, sweep the arms forward, sitting into our chair, tuck that tailbone under, arms up if it feels okay. So we're just going to stay for one more breath here, gently squeezing knees together. And then release the legs, release the arms, sweep the arms around behind, take a little press of the hands together behind, opening through the chest. You might lift the chin if it feels good, or keep eye gaze forwards to stay steady. You can squeeze the bottom to press the hips forwards to find a little back bend if that's comfortable for you today. And then gently release the arms, release the shoulders. And just bring the feet so they're hip distance apart. Draw those shoulders back. And then squeeze the elbows behind this time. So hands on the lower back, squeezing elbows right behind you. See if you can make them touch. I'm not sure it's possible, but we can try. Big open through that chest. Inhale, and as you exhale, tip from the hips, dive into that forward fold. Again, this time you might be just holding onto the shins or using your peace fingers, wrapping around the thumb, make a little circle. Wrap around the big toe, make a circle with the thumb, and then draw the elbows wide, drawing that chin in towards the shins. You might just hold the shins and draw yourself in that way. So we're drawing that chin in towards the shin, crown of the head dropping towards the floor. And just find your breath here in that nice forward fold. Maybe some long exhales. You might purse the lips and blow the exhale out through some rounded lips. And as you let go of that breath, you might notice tension releasing in the back body. One more breath here. So gently release any bind you have with the feet. Just come up to that halfway lift. You might gently press into the shins, keeping the knees unlocked, a little softness. And this time you're going to bring the palms of the hands under the soles of the feet. So you can bend your knees as much as you need to do that. So get the backs of the hands on the floor, palms under the soles of the feet. Bend those knees, drop the head, and then you might just lift and straighten the legs if there's any space to find that stretch there. Good, so just allow the breath to be steady here. Big inhale, sigh it out, let it go. So untuck those fingers and toes. Just coming up through that halfway flat back, you might walk the hands up the legs again as you do that, or hands on the hips, lifting up with that long flat spine, coming back to stand. Lovely. So we're going to take our triangle pose. So the right foot's going to be at the front of our mat, left foot a 3/4 length of your mat step back. And open out the hips and shoulders to the long edge of your mat. So reach the arms wide. You're going to send the left hip backwards, so just tipping that hip back. reach forwards over that front leg, keeping the spine nice and long. And that hand might just rest by the inside of the knee, left arm up to the sky, or you might slide that hand down a little lower, but just imagine you're squeezing between two panes of glass, so nothing's touching either side, keeping those hips stacked in line, shoulders stacked in line. And you might look down just to keep that eye gaze nice and steady. If you want to look up, lift that left ear towards the sky first, so lift the ear high, and then you can rotate the head and look up, and that just keeps that neck nice and long. Find your breath. So we're going to lift out with that left arm, reach the arm up, just come back up through centre, and just cross the feet over, or not cross the feet, sorry, pivot the feet round so the left foot becomes your front foot. Right foot slightly turned in, opening out to that long edge of your mat, send the right hip backwards, reach forwards over that left leg, and then tip down, finding those lovely long lines of triangle pose. So you should feel it in that right side body. If you want to feel more, you can always bring that right arm, bicep to ear, to reach overhead. But the traditional pose is keeping those arms locked in line. One more breath here. So use that right arm to lift you back up towards the sky. Just pivot the feet again, twist back towards the front of the mat, big step back in, finding mountain pose. Lovely. So we'll try that revolved. So the right foot's our front foot, left foot steps back, and again keep everything this time straight to the front edge of your mat, so shoulders and hips are square to the front edge. Reach the left arm up, right hand can stay on the hip, tip forwards first, so really reach long forwards, and then that left hand comes to the outside of the right foot. So you might stay here, this might be enough of a twist for you. If you want to turn the chest towards that front leg, you can. Right hand might stay on the hip, or it might reach up to complete that full rotated triangle position. Beautiful, keep breathing. You might look down just to keep yourself steady. If you're really wobbly, widen the feet away from each other as if they're on train tracks. One more breath. So we're going to cartwheel open the arms, we're going to pivot the feet and spin round to the other side. Nice, so the left leg becomes our front foot. Right foot just slightly turned out, hips and shoulders square to that now front edge of our mat. Reach the right arm up, reach forwards, take that long stretch forwards, and then take the hand on the outside of left foot. So you might just be peeling, trying to twist the chest open towards the front leg. Maybe the left hand stays on the lower back. Maybe it reaches up to the sky. For that full revolved triangle, keep breathing. Eye gaze to either that top hand or bottom hand. One more breath. If we fix the eye gaze, it helps us with our balance. And then we're going to cartwheel back open, so pivot back to the front of your mat. And step the foot in, not cartwheeling, sorry, just cartwheeling the arms. Cartwheel later. Okay, so this time right foot stays forward, big long step back with the left foot. A little slight turn in with that foot again. If you can, try and get the heel to the inside arch in that line, but if you need to widen that stance away from each other, you can. Sink into that right knee, reach over the front leg. You might just rest the elbow to the right knee, left bicep to left ear, finding that extended side angle. Beautiful. So this might be enough. The Ashtanga variation, this front hand comes down the back of that leg. It's actually easier down the front if you want to try that. So just seeing where feels good for you. This arm might stay up if it needs to, but we're getting that extended side angle, that long line between our left hand and our left foot down the left side of the body. Keep breathing. So use that top arm to sweep you back up, straighten through the front leg, and again pivot the feet. So back foot, right foot turns in, left toes towards the now front of your mat. Sink into that left knee, reach forwards over that front leg, resting the elbow to the knee, right bicep to right ear. If you're resting on your knee, try not to use all that weight and try not to drop your ear to your shoulder. Press into the knee with the elbow. So we're making space between shoulders and ears. One more breath here, really reach that top arm long. And then as you come back up, just opening back up, pivoting those feet round to the front of the mat, big step back in. And we're in mountain pose again. So keep the right foot forwards, just a short step back with the left foot this time. And again, widen it if you need to, if you find you're a bit wobbly. Keep those hips nice and square to the front edge. So options here with your hands, you're going to just clasp the hands or wrists behind, or the forearms or the elbows, or reverse prayer down, or reverse prayer up. So only where feels comfortable for you and your shoulders today. So keep that spine nice and long, tipping forwards with the hips and keeping that crown of head long. So just neutral through the neck, chin just not quite tucked in, but just gently lengthening the back of the neck. So we might stay here in this kind of flat back position, pushing both hip bones back. We might fold over that front leg, chin towards the shin if that feels good. If you need to support yourself, your hands can just come onto that front shin again with the knees soft, never locking out those knees in any of our postures here today. Keep finding that breath. So gently on your inhale, lift through the chest. Use that big strong back muscles to lift you back up. So we're going to pivot round on the feet, keep the hands behind wherever they are. And left foot becomes our front foot. Push both hip bones back evenly as you tip forwards. Find that flat back, 90 degrees, or keep going, folding over that front leg. It's always my tighter side, this side, so it always feels a bit weirder as I fold, but just noticing any differences side to side. That's the beauty of yoga. We always notice the differences. Try not to label them good or bad or better or worse, but just notice the difference and honour that side where it needs to be. Find the breath. Each exhale, you might just find you soften slightly further into the posture without force. So lift through the chest as you come back up, release the arms carefully as you pivot back round the feet. Give those shoulders a little roll and release if they were feeling that one there, and just shake out the arms. So let's find our wide-legged fold. So stepping the feet wide, you might turn the toes slightly in, or at least keeping them kind of straight forwards, not turned out. So we want them nice and straight or slightly inwards. So take a big inhale here, and we're again tipping from those hips as we fold forwards. You might slide the hands down the legs if it feels good to kind of support yourself down, or bring the hands, they might end up dangling, they might not reach the floor. You can grab opposite elbow and drop the head there. But if they're on the floor, palms can be nice and spread, thumbs close or touching, and we're drawing the elbows towards one another. So we're really trying to kind of find that 90 degrees with the elbows if they are on the ground. If you've got a book nearby or a pillow, you can always pop that under the hands if the floor feels far away in your fold. So really try and drop the head here, try and lift the hips up towards the sky, and just make sure there's some weight through the front of the feet, it's not all through the heels of the foot. So really just trying to allow that head to dangle down. Long exhales again. One more breath here. So as you come up, you might press into the floor, lift up to that flat back, or hands can come to the hips as you lift through the flat back. Bend the knees just a little bit if you need, coming back up to stand. If you want to jump the feet in, you can. If you feel like they're a little bit too wide, then just give them a little shuffle back in towards one another. Lovely. So we're going to take a little bit of balance. So if you prefer to be off your mat, you can come off your mat, especially if it's quite thick, or if you need a wall to just help you, or a sofa or whatever's nearby, then do grab that. So we're just going to ground through that left foot. So spread the toes, ground through the foot, and just check the hip isn't hanging out. Bring it in. So squeeze in and draw a big long line up, pull up through that long line of the crown of the head. So bring the right knee up to your chest. Keep lifting tall through the crown of the head, and just give that right knee a hug. So at any point of this, you can just stay. So we're going to work our way through to standing half lotus, but if you choose to stay here, you can stay here balancing. You might bring the foot back and keep that knee in line as you bring the foot back. Finding a bit of a quad stretch, that might be a really nice place to stay and enjoy balancing, but stretching the quads. Each move just prepares the knee and the hip for our standing half lotus, or we take the knee wide, bring the foot wide, flex through the foot, and bring that heel into the opposite hip crease, if you want it. So options, just take tree pose here, your foot to the inside of the thigh if that feels better. Otherwise we're here, keep hold with the left hand, right arm wraps round. It might only find the lower back, it might find the elbow of the other hand, the forearm, it might even be able to find those toes. Good, so just breathing wherever you want to be, balancing, beautiful guys, really good. Keep breathing, lifting tall. So carefully as we release that back arm first, Then release, you might just give that ankle a little circle because it's quite a stretch on the ankle. The knee might need a little rub, shake out the leg. And then especially that standing leg, just give it a nice little circle, just coming around the toes a little bit to release the foot and ankle, shake it out. So ground through the right foot, spread the toes. Again, if hip is hanging out, pull it in, draw that long line up. Imagine someone's pulling you up through the crown of the head, lift tall, and left knee hugs in. So we might stay here just enjoying a little pelvis stretch. You can circle the ankle if you need to. Try and keep the knee in line as you bring the foot behind, finding a nice stretch down the front of the thigh. Again, we might stay here. We can always hold something if we need. Bring that knee back up, turn the knee wide, lift the heel away first, and then bring the heel into the opposite hip crease. So again, maybe taking tree, bring the foot to the inside thigh instead. If we're in our standing half lotus, keep hold of the toes, wrap the left arm around the back of the body this time, seeing if we can find the forearm or the elbow, tucking it in, nice, lovely. Keep lifting tall, nice. So carefully release the back arm, release the ankle, give it a little circle if you need. Knee might need a little rub, shake it out the standing, ankle and foot, and let it go. Good. So we'll take a little bit of Warrior 3 as our second balance today. So coming out of that Ashtanga kind of series, but nice to just practice all sorts of balance. So right foot's going to be our standing foot first. So stepping forwards onto that right foot, tipping and lifting that left leg behind. So squeeze from the glute, lift that leg behind. Hands might stay on the hips just to try and keep them nice and even. We're not lifting that left hip up, it's staying low. Or hands can come to heart center to kind of find a bit more balance and stability. Fix the eye gaze down if you want that full version. Our arms reach forwards. We're trying to find that T shape with the body and the back leg. Lifting tall. Breathing. Fix the eye gaze. I'm going to cheat, hold on and look at you all. Yeah, good. Keep breathing, nice. And then lift the chest, bring the leg back in. And give the legs a shake out if you need. Standing leg might need that little release again. So left foot forwards, hands on the hips. Big tip forwards as we step onto that left leg. Squeeze the right glute to lift the heel behind. The foot is flexed. So we're squeezing through that whole leg as well. Hands might stay on hips, keeping them square or heart to heart center, or reaching out in front, finding that long T shape. Beautiful, keep breathing. Good, one more breath. And then bring that foot in, release and just release standing leg, a bit shake out if you need. Release the legs. Lovely. So coming back to the front of the mat if you're not already there. Big toes close or touching, spread the rest of the toes, little gap between the heels. Softness to the knees, squeeze the bottom. Draw the shoulders back, palms wide, open through the chest. Lift tall through the crown of the head. And again, just close the eyes, just take a moment to slow the breath back down. Or just notice the breath. Don't know if it's because I'm talking, but I'm definitely more out of breath from balancing and sweaty. So just find your breath, slow it back down into the belly on that inhale, filling up. Exhale, belly drops in towards the spine, letting go. Excuse the fly if you can hear him. So take a big inhale, reach the arms overhead, eyes open, palms touch, or you might even choose to keep the eyes shut and just move through that exhale, tipping forwards into your forward fold. Just noticing how it feels to move with eyes shut. Inhale, long flat back. Exhale to fold, drop the head. So walking or stepping back to find your plank. You might drop the knees if you need to, hovering down on the exhale, keeping the weight forwards over those elbows in close. Inhale, lift through cobra or up dog, and then drop the knees and just push back, round through the spine, and bring the hips towards the heels. And you might just leave the arms rested overhead, or you can stack your fists here, prop your head onto the fists, and just push those hips towards the heels. So finding that little child's pose. Just a moment of pause to find your breath, slow it back down. A little bit rounded through the spine. So if the head is okay on the floor, arms are just rested, elbows relaxed overhead. But if you find there's quite a gap between your hips and heels, it might work to just prop the forehead up a little higher. Pillows or cushions are always useful as props. One more breath here. And then just coming up to all fours, just take a moment to take a few little twists and stretch through that spine. So just bring the left wrist so it's just in front of the shoulder slightly. You're going to peel the right arm up to the sky, take a big inhale as you open through that arm. As you exhale, post that right arm through and underneath, tapping down the right side of the head. So we're coming back up, inhale as we lift. Exhale, post it through and under. So dynamic eye of the needle. One more time, coming up on the inhale. Exhale, post it through and then pause in your twist here. So let that right side of the head rest, right shoulder rest. You might press into the left hand, just pushing that right shoulder, right hip to the right side of your mat. So we get that upper back twist and open. Find your breath here. And as you press into that left hand, just come back up to all fours. So right wrist just in front of the shoulder, making some space. Peel that left arm up and open on the inhale. Exhale, post it through and underneath, tapping down the left side of the head. Inhale as we lift and open. Exhale, post it through and underneath. One more time. Inhaling to lift and open. Exhale, post it through and pause in your twist here. Resting the left side of the head, pressing gently into that right hand, just shuffling the left shoulder, left hip to left side of the mat. Breathing. One more breath here. Press into that right hand. Come back up to all fours. So option just to sit your bottom down and swing your legs round. If you feel comfortable, you might tuck the toes and have a little tiny baby bunny hop here. So you might just be taking the weight onto the shoulders like so. If you're confident and you've done this before, you might take big bunny hops. You might jump your feet to your hands or through your hands, or just sit down. So when you get there, just ground through the sit bones, bring the legs out in front, squeeze the thighs, so we're really trying to bridge any gap underneath those knees and pull the toes back, so we're squeezing the thighs, the heels will lift a little. Spread the toes as well, lift nice and tall through the chest, and then just rest the hands down. They might just stay kind of by the side. If your ears are up by your shoulders, just really try and bend the elbows, rest the shoulders away from ears, so lifting nice and tall. Finding that L shape, so using our core just to sit here, nice and tall. And then just let the heels rest, sweep the arms up, and then tipping forwards, finding that forward fold. Now if you know this is not good for your hamstrings, you can always bend the knees in, belly towards the thighs, and it helps to hold the toes and walk the heels away slowly. So you might not even get those legs flat, that's okay, but we'll still get that nice fold feeling. So option to take that if that feels better for your hamstrings. Otherwise you might just be rested onto the legs, or those hands might reach over the toes. Wherever you are, keep that spine nice and long, folded from the hips, the chin towards the shins. Use that breath again. Each exhale is that moment our body actually relaxes, comes towards that parasympathetic state, that calmer state, and our muscles do actually relax in that moment. You may not feel like it, but they do. One more breath here. So gently and carefully just walk your way back up to seated. So bring the right knee in towards your chest and let the knee roll wide, and the foot inside of the foot comes the inside of the thigh. And keep pulling the left toes back so the leg is long. Lift nice and tall, and then we're going to walk down that front leg. So we're folding again. You might just rest the hands, you might hold the shin, you might wrap round the foot, wherever you are, again, keeping that spine long and drawing that chin towards the shin. So if you're quite flexible, your chin might even be on the shin, and that's good. Looking towards the big toe, keeping that spine long. So our drishti, our eye gaze, we fix it onto that big toe. And it just starts to internalize our feelings and thoughts as well as we focus in on our own practice. Keep the breath steady. So gently release and walk your way back up. So you're going to bring that left foot in front of the right foot. So just a little cross. So you're going to lift up, so you might use tented fingers or press into the knuckles if that feels better. So if you can lift the bottom off the ground and then kick and swap the legs. If you can't do that, just swap the legs over, that's absolutely fine. Lovely. So bring that foot to the inside thigh, left foot in now, right leg long, lift tall, and then tip forwards, folding over that front leg. Again, wherever feels comfortable for you as you fold. And just support yourself so you can try and relax into the posture. Try and draw that chin towards the shins. Eye gaze to the big toe. Find the breath. One more breath here. And then gently as you walk your way back up, bring the right foot in front of the left, lift the hips, kick and swap the feet over again. So left leg is long, right knee is hugged in. I'm going to turn for this one. So you're going to keep that right knee tucked in, left leg long. Wrap the left arm around the right knee so you're hugging the knee and you're twisting towards. That left knee would fit under the armpit almost, but twisting and turning towards. So that's our twist. We can stay there. Maybe that elbow comes to the outside of the knee to twist a little bit more if you want. That feels good. Otherwise, keep hugging and holding the knee, drawing it in. So try and lift tall so this back arm isn't taking loads of weight. It's there just to help you twist maybe the shoulder and the head to complete the twist, but we're using the core to lift tall. So our full version, if anyone's super flexible, the shoulder is right by that knee. We're bringing the arm forwards. We're trying to bring the arm round and hook on. If it goes much further than that, we'll take it there one day. One more breath. So gently and carefully unravel back to center. Kick and swap the legs or just swap them over. Lift the hips and kick or just swap the legs over. Right leg long, left knee hugged into the chest. Wrap the right arm round. Bring that knee as if it would come underneath the armpit, or bring the elbow to the outside of the knee to twist a little further if you want. Keep lifting tall through the crown of the head. Don't forget the right foot. If that right leg's all relaxed, see if you can squeeze and pull the toes up so right leg is engaged as well. Keep breathing. Harder to breathe into the belly now, it's twisted, but trying to find that diaphragm breath still. So gently unravel back to center. And then this time again, just lift the hips, but then drop them back down. Bring the soles of the feet together and bring them in nice and close. And use the thumbs to just press and open the soles of the feet like a book. So we're really trying to draw them wide. And as we do that, we're squeezing the outside of the glutes, trying to draw the knees wide actively with those muscles. If we need to, we can use elbows to keep those knees a little bit wider. So you might stay where you are. You might start to tip forwards, again keeping the spine long as you do so. You're coming back to help pops. Yeah, good job. Is this your pose? Is it? Oh, yes, there's a good spot there for you, isn't there? So keep the spine long as you tip forwards. Chin would land in front of the feet. Chest would land close to the feet. Doesn't matter if we're not there, just imagining that's where we're headed towards. And then as you come back up this time, just bring the feet a little inch or two forwards. And this time you're going to round through the spine. So tuck the chin into the chest like we did earlier with that cat-cow, rounding through. And draw the head towards the feet. And you might use those elbows, keeping the knees wide this time. We're really rounding this time, so it's not quite the same inner thigh stretch, but rounded through the back to fold round. Not fold, sorry, curl round. One more breath here. And then coming back up. So just finding your sit bones and grounding through those. So just bring the feet close in, not too close, but lift nice and tall through the chest. So we're going to lean back, so we get that kind of V shape with the body and the knees. So we might just stay here. This is boat pose version 1. We can squeeze the legs together. We might lift the feet away from the floor and balance in that boat pose. Kind of second version. You might straighten one leg. You might even need to keep the other leg down for balance, or the fingertips on the floor for balance. You might straighten both legs. Just working at any level. Breathe in, keep lifting tall. 3, 2, and then just relax the legs, just cross them easily, and find that seated cat-cow again, so we round through the spine. Lift them open through the collarbones. Exhaling as you round. Inhaling as you lift them open. And we'll take that boat pose again. So, knees squeezed. You might just be balancing with the tiptoes on the floor, that's fine. Lean back but keep the spine long. Maybe lift the feet. If you need to hold the legs, do. If you can release, or just use fingertips to help balance perhaps. Maybe straightening the legs. Breathing. Shaking. 3, 2, and then release. And again, just a little cat-cow opening through the spine, rounding down. Inhale, exhale. And then bring the feet so they're hip distance apart this time. And we're going to roll down super slowly. So bring that chin to the chest, lower yourself down. See if you can keep the feet planted, rolling through the spine, seeing how you can control one vertebrae and then the next. Always have that little quick bit that is harder to control on the tailbone. And then as you roll further down, lowering down. When you hit the floor, hopefully not hit the floor, hopefully roll down gently onto the floor. Take that full body stretch, so press the heels away, press the palms overhead, find that full body extension. Take a big inhale, side out, let it go. And then just hug the right knee into the chest, give it a nice big squeeze in, keep that left leg grounded, and walk down the back of the leg. So you might just hold the calf, you might hold the hamstring if you need. If you've got any jumpers, straps, anything nearby you can use, you can hook that around the foot, a towel. Or use your peace fingers to hook onto the big toe and press the heel up to the sky. So we don't need a fully straight leg here. As you can see, we're still getting into that hamstring. So just supporting wherever you feel you need to straighten that right heel to the sky. Keep the left heel grounded. You might press gently onto that left thigh, keeping the left leg grounded. So if you've got room where you are, hopefully you have, start to take that right leg out to the right side, supporting it on the thigh or shin, or keep hold of that foot as you take the leg wide. Keep the left shoulder, left hip grounded as that right leg goes out to the side, so that we are still open through the body. Keep breathing, and as you bring that right leg back up to the center, lift the head, neck and shoulders and bring the nose towards the knee and the knee towards the nose. So engaging the core, trying to draw that knee and nose towards one another. So gently release the right leg, just let it bend, release the foot, and then take that right leg over to the left side with the knee bent. So just rolling the right leg over to the left side of the body, finding a reclined twist. Trail the right arm behind you, and you can just look to that right hand as you twist the head over, completing that spinal twist with the head and neck. So just slow the breath back down here. Just start to tune into that inhale, belly rising. Exhale, belly falling. One more breath here. And then gently roll back to center, just let the hips land back onto the ground. You might just press the feet into the floor, lift the hips and land them evenly. So straighten out the right leg this time and bring the left knee into the chest. Give it a big hug and a squeeze. And then take that left heel to the sky, so work your way down the leg. Oh, good spot to sit pops. Or hook onto the big toe with the peace fingers. Straightening that left heel to the sky. Keep grounding the right hip down, the right leg down to the floor, and just keep pulling those right toes back as well so that both feet are flexed. And then start to take that left leg out to the left side. Keep the right shoulder, right hip grounded down. Keep breathing. One more breath here. And then as you bring that left foot back to center, lift the head, neck and shoulders, bring the knee towards the nose towards the knee, engaging those core muscles. Although we're holding, we're using the core to lift the shoulders away from the floor. And then gently bend the knee, release the hand. Right hand brings that left knee over to the right side. recline twist. Leave that left arm trailing behind you and look to that left hand to complete the twist. So just find your breath here. In through nose, even through that twisted belly, it's filling up on the inhale. Exhale through mouth. Let it go. Should maybe feel that chest stretched and open, shoulder opening. Slowing the breath down. And then as you unravel back to center, just let both hips land. Sure, I'm getting the doors found the sunniest spot on my mat. Lift the hips and land them back down. So just hugging both knees into the chest, giving them a big squeeze and just a little rock side to side, just massaging that lower back onto the floor. Land the hands on top of each knee and just guide the knees out and round in circles. So we just take each knee in an opposite direction, circling around into those hips. And then reverse your circles back the other way. And then bring the knees wide and reach hands through the center and grab the outsides of the soles of the feet, lifting the feet up towards the sky, bringing the knees wide as if again they would kind of fit next to the side of the body or almost towards those armpits or in our happy baby. Keep the tailbone down on the floor if it wants to sort of curl up and lift. See if you can lengthen it towards the floor. And you might just stay here, enjoying that kind of inner thigh bit into the hamstrings. You might start to straighten one leg, rock to that side, or rock side to side, or straightening both legs. Just noticing what you feel like you want to do here. Have a little play. See where the body takes you, where the mind takes you. Just allowing a little bit of freedom and exploration into this posture, noticing where you want to be. Maybe stillness and breath is where you want to be with that. And then just start to find your way into a final resting position now. Either straight out into that kind of starfish shape where our legs are long, our toes are rolling wide and our arms are palm up, backs of hands rested and away from the body. If you need to, you can bring your feet wide, knees bent, and let the knees drop in towards one another, and that just supports the back a little bit more, so that's more constructive rest position if you need. You can always come to butterfly, soles of the feet together, let the knees drop wide, or just find corpse pose, traditional shavasana, and allow the whole back of the body to find rest here, grounding into the mats. So just notice the weight of the head on the floor. You might just roll the back of the head across the mat, almost looking over one shoulder than the other. You might close the eyes now and just start to allow the body to rest. I'm going to close my window so I don't hear the dog next door. And then the fly starts. So just allow the body to become heavy. Backs of the hands and arms fully rested. Filling up that belly on the inhale, filling up completely like a balloon. You might just sigh it out. Let it go. Let the hips be heavy and grounded. Let the legs relax. Feet relaxed, toes uncurled, rolling wide if the legs are straight. And just slowing the breath down. And just noticing if the mind is busy or racing, perhaps give it something to focus on, a simple instruction for an inhale, an instruction for an exhale. And any time the mind does wander, just gently bring it back to your breath. noticing if the mind again becomes busy. Just allowing it to return to your breath. Belly rising, belly falling. Just gently start to bring awareness back to your body. You might wriggle your toes, you might wriggle your fingers, you might circle your ankles, and circle your wrists. You can start to take that full body stretch overhead or press the feet away. You might start to walk the feet in and hug the knees into the chest. So give them a big squeeze in. And just roll onto either side, curled in a ball. Just take a moment, curled up, giving yourself a big hug, sending yourself some love and gratitude this morning for your practice. And then when you're ready, just coming up to a seated position. Doesn't matter which way you're facing, eyes might be closed still or head might just stay bowed down. We'll just close the practice with a few breaths. I will do an om. If you want to join in, you can. Humming is so good for our nervous system. If you think it feels a bit weird so far, that's fine. You don't need to do it. So take a big deep inhale, fill up the belly. Side out, let it go. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Inhaling to om. As you can hear, it really lengthens the exhale omming, which is again super good for our vagus nerve. You might just take a big stretch with the arms overhead and draw the hands down through heart center. Namaste. Thank you guys, well done. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your sunny day.